This makes me even more nervous because this is totally live coding that I haven't prepared and I haven't researched. And this is like 3-year-old information in my head. So like, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. Cool. So we have a pledge, right? We have a pledge with an amount. Really should have got some water before this. I'm parched. And the pledge links to our project using this related name pledges, yeah? Yes? So I'm just going to go to, just going to do a quick ls. See, I'm in where my manage directory, where my manage is. I'm going to manage.py shell. Actually, do not follow along with this. I'm just going to pip install IPython. This is just a tool that's going to allow me to have some like autocomplete when I run shell, so I can try and save myself some typos. You don't need to do this at all. All right, cool, shell. I'm going to, from projects.models import everything. That seems about right. So I can now go p is project.objects.first, p project p.name. Title? Donated dog. Cool. So I've got my donated dog. This is option 1. I can maybe do like a no. P.dict. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. This is what I said. Live coding. It's been a while. So what I've done here is I've just gone, right, I'm going to spit out the dictionary of what P is. So P is first project. And now I've got this thing where I can have a look and I've got ID, title. This is what Python has when it sees what it is, right? Like this is all the information. I'm just doing this to make sure this makes sense. I can go P dot, now what was the pledges were called? Is it pledges? Yep, dot all. And I'm going to get a query set. So what pledges is pledges is what Django refers to as a related manager. And so a related manager is a thing that allows you to look at the relationship between one object and another. If it's a foreign key or a one-to-one, as in from this thing it only ever sees one, it just returns that thing. So like if I go p.owner, it's going to go custom user admin. If I go owner ID, it'll tell me it's ID 1. That's because this is a foreign key, so it's looking in one direction. My pledge has a foreign key that looks to project. So the pledge has one project. You have one project. Pledge has one project. A project can have many pledges. It's a one-to-many relationship between pledge and project. So to get the many, so from pledge, I go to pledge.project to give me the project. From the project, I go project.pledges, which is our related name, .all. Because it's a related manager, it's not just one thing, it's going to give me many things. So I go p.pledges.all. Cool, that makes sense? It's giving me a list. I can then go like for pledge in p.pledges. I wish I called it project or something now instead of p, but that's fine. There's too many p things in this. Print pledge dot amount, is that what it is? Oh, it's autofill, so it should work. Pledge dot, I'm sure it's amount. 1, all right, I've got one pledge, it has the item of 1. This is going to be totally useless. All right, I'm going to go p.pledges. So what else you can do here through this related thing? Pledges.create. Oh no, this is going to be way too hard. Okay, I'm going to go to Insomnia. Where's Insomnia? Come on, Insomnia. There you are. Cool. I've got projects. I'm going to hit this thing. I'm going to duplicate this guy. No, that's not where it is. Over here. Duplicate. I'm going to call it pledges create. You've already done this, right? I need to open a new terminal. I need to go manage run server. So I've got my run server. I need to do activate my virtual environment, and then run server. Cool, run server's working. Now this should work. I need to just log in. Send. Cool. Just because I had run it before when it wasn't there, so I just wanted to make sure it was up to date. Pledges. What does pledges require? It requires a project, right? Project. It doesn't need a URL. Project 1. It needs an amount, which is. What was that? Oh yeah, thank you. Projects up here. I hate that it doesn't just automatically do that, but that's my personal gripes. Project amount. Oh yeah, anonymous is false. What else is there? Comment equals my comment. And that's it, because supporter should automatically do it. Is that everything? Cool. All right, 99. I'm going to go 101. All right, now I've got a few. I'll go back to my terminal. I'll run this again. I've got a few more, right? p.pledges.all is going to give me a query set with 3 things. Does that make sense? All right, so how do we get the sum of everything that's in there? p.pledges. We could just do a sum of that. There is a quick way of doing it. Off the top of my head, I'm trying so hard to remember what it is. I think it's called annotation. Woo. Pledges.all.annotate. Oh my God, sum. Oh. Shall we look up let's look at the docs. Let's do it the proper way. Django models annotate. Aggregation. Cheat sheets. Import max, import average, float field, count, queue. No, I want sum. Average, min, max, average, count. Nah. Min, max. Floating relationships backwards. Yeah, this is where we're going. Sum. Here we go. Annotate. Total pages equals sum book pages. Cool. So we go. Well, what I can do is, which way is this thing? Yeah. All right. Dot values amount. Yeah, there we go. Can I do a sum of that? All right. I thought values worked. Ooh. Oh yeah, of course. Dot values. Because it's a dictionary. Sum. It's so much harder to. Int and dict. It's not a dict. Is it a dict? All right. Values. I only want the values. Oh, it must be value something. Value. Django values related manager. So frustrating. All right, I'm trying to do this 2 separate ways. Let's just do it the aggregate way. Aggregate, where did I see sum? Sum, up there. Cool. All right, get rid of that. So P equals this thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go P equals project first, and then I'm going to go annotate, and I'm going to go total equals, where's my thing? Sum. I need to import sum. Do I need to import sum from something? I do. Let me just make a mistake of that one. Boom. So P equals this thing dot annotate total equals the sum of its pledges and amount. See if that works. I've got a not feeling very confident. Oh, and I need another closing bracket. No, actually, annotate. Did I spell that wrong? Oh, it's aggregate. Oh no, it's annotate. Objects annotate. Okay. Because I'm running first too early. That's what it is. E dot first. Dot first. All right, there we go. P. All right, P and some dictionary stuff. Where was that? Dict. Cool. All right, now I have a total. So I've got P dot total. I can now use that in my serializer to return that value. But one of the other ways I'd probably look at doing this is I would look at doing this from the other perspective, which is what I was trying to do, which is to do a sum over the related fields. So let me just have a quick scroll because clearly I'm struggling to find where that is. Yeah, sums. But that's not quite what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it over a related field, aggregates over that, objects, generating aggregates items in a query set, multiple aggregations, joins and aggregations, joins we've already done, following relationships backwards is what I'm after. Publisher, objects, annotate, objects, aggregate, no, don't want that. Don't want that. It's really annoying. Django sum over related manager. Oh, Stack Overflow, do I really have to go there? No, I just feel like I'm a bad teacher if I'm doing that. Self, vote set, aggregate. Really? All right, cool. Sum. So basically that's what we're doing. Boom. Let's just do that. So if I go back to, where's my terminal here? P. All right, so P dot pledges dot aggregate sum of value and sum. So what I'm looking for here is the sum of, what was it, amount? Hey, there we go. That's what I was trying to look for. So what we're doing from here is we're going, how do we look at the related name? So I've got p.pledges.all. So this is getting all of the pledges attached to my project. But instead of getting all, I'm saying give me the aggregate sum of all of the amounts. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool, following along. What I'm going to do, now I've had this muck around here, is I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to use that in a way that you haven't seen yet either, which is to add a property to a model. Have you seen this? Didn't think so. So if I go to models and I go to my project, I can go down here and say at property. Is that big enough to read? Yep. Thank you. I'm going to say def, what are we going to call this? Total? Self. So properties essentially are a way of returning a value as if it was a field. So as if it was an attribute of the model class. So if like, it's a built-in Python thing, it's not a Django thing. So from a class perspective, a property is returning a value as if it was an attribute. In Django, you're returning it as if it is a field from the database. So I can just, in the same way that I would go p.title to get the title, I can go p.total and it will go calculate the total based on what I put in here. you can only return, you can't ask for anything because it's going to pretend to be a value. You can't use it like a function, so this will work quite fine for us. I'm going to go return. I'm going to say self.pledges aggregate sum. I need to import sum, so where's that come from? Oh, it comes from models, so I might just go models.sum. And it's going to return that. If I save this, I go back to my, I'm going to have to quit. I do really want to quit, yes. Run it again. Because I've already imported it, it's not going to work. I need to, from project models import star, now go p equals project. I've got my thing now, project total. So it's going to return that each time. Because it's a property and it's calculating it every time I run it, if I now go back to my, wherever, there it is, here. If I add, what were we up to? 201. If I add another 101, no, let's make it something else. Another 90, no, I've already added 99. 9, I'm going to add 9 as my amount. Cool. So now, if I run this again, it's 210. It's automatically updated every time you ask the database because it's not a value, it's a calculation. But it's a calculation pretending to be a value. Does that make sense? Yep. So properties and annotations are two things that I'm introducing here, as well as that reverse lookup. So, yeah. So when you were saying like how would favorites work? Favorites works in a very similar way to this. Like you would go user.favorites.all to get all the favorites, and from the favorite and from the story it would be, or the project, it would be project.favoritedby.all because it's a many-to-many field. So similar. Yep.
Would you mind copying the code from your VS Code into Slack, please?
Into Slack? Can I just push it? Yes. Which bit? Just this bit?
Yeah,
just that bit?
Yeah.
All right. That's the only thing I changed, right?
Yeah, because that's all we really need, but it gives us an idea. It's a reminder. Now that we understand that we can do this and do that, then we can look at different functions and do the different things. That's really helpful.
Cool. I thought that might be a good thing to just throw in at the end of the session. Are you happy with that? Any more questions? You want me to talk about anything else?
Just with that, like I've noticed that you can do class-based and you can do function-based, so could that stand independently? But obviously you are referencing the project data. But
yep.
Like if you were, I've noticed that there are some models that have, it's a function-based model as opposed to a class-based model.
In a model?
I mean, I don't know what it's called.
Like view or a?
View, well, it's in this section, but sometimes it's class and sometimes it's function, but it has the decorator at the top as well. Or is this too complicated?
Oh, like a different decorator?
It's
or the same decorator?
Outside of a class. It's not under a class. It's like a function base instead of a class. Anyway, whatever. If it's
like like if you looked online and in views, there's been something like at method equals or get or something like that.
So let's not.
Yeah. So this particular thing, this at on top of a function, or in this case a method, is what's called a decorator.
Yeah.
And what that's doing is it's wrapping some logic around that. So it's like it's a function that applies to a function. You can write them yourself, but that's like a couple of years from now problem, not a now problem. Yeah. But that's what it is. So you'll see this used in Python a bit, and in other languages as well. They'll have different syntax, but it'll do the same thing. Essentially, what you're saying is there's a process that I want to happen around this. Yep. So yeah, does that make sense? I guess the next step would be like, how do you add this to your project, right? So total equals serializers dot read only field. Source. Well, let's just see if it just works. Give that a go. All right, I've updated that. Let's go back to Insomnia. I'm going to go get projects. 210. I've now got my total. Null, because there isn't one. That makes sense. So it was pretty simple. Like all I had to add was this read-only field. It's a read-only field because it's a property. It doesn't need to be anything else. Just like, let's have a quick look. Did that come out? Yeah, it is a float. Cool. So it's automatically figured out what type it should be, which is nice. So it's a read-only field. We can't edit it. You can't set the total because it's not a real value. It's not something we're storing. It's something we're calculating. And so that's how it's linked. If this was in my other one, so my project, my pledges, serializer, wherever it is, it's up here actually. I just add it as a field that gets one of these fields. I'd have like total in there instead because it's just a field that I'm adding. It behaves just like a field. That's how properties work.
You put it in the read-only.
Yeah, you'd put it in a read-only because it's not something that should be editable.
Yep.
I'm not sure what a model serializer does. If you give it a property, it may just automatically give it a read-only. It might be smart enough to do that. In fact, I would probably go so far as to say it would be smart enough to do that. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it didn't automatically do that. Cool.
So with that total thing, and that it knows that what data to sum, what if you say you had you put one of those like clap functions in your project or something, and so you had like another amount?
Like who's liked it?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
If you had something else that had a number figure, pledges.
Let me, I'm so lost. Go over there, you. Insomnia, go over there. There we go. Here. All right, I'm going to just can this one for now. Yeah, I do really want to quit. I'm going to go git status, git commit am added. So am means add everything, and m is for my message. So I've added my aggregate property to model, to projects. Git push. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Right. So now I've done that, let's talk about the other thing that I was going to do. How much time we got? 10 minutes. We can do this. All right, so say you wanted something like a way to, essentially what you're saying is favorite it, right? Like,
well, what I'm saying is what we just did in serializers, where it automatically knew to what figure to sum for your total. What happens if we add another field or something that's a number to, I was saying for an example would be like if someone clapped, it was like a clap function on a pledge, and that comes back as a number of how many claps.
can a user clap more than once?
What I mean is how, like, if we didn't have to specify what it was totaling.
Yeah, we did. We said amount. So amount here is this amount
Okay.
here.
We did it in the models, not the serializer.
No, the serializer just takes whatever the total is because you've given it a field. You've said use this total as a read-only, and it goes to the model, and the model gives it the data. So we've set it in the data, we've set it in the model because it's a model-centric change. Yeah, so yeah. So the question being, how would you change that? If you were counting something else, you would change this amount. This word sum here has to equal that one there. So this sum, that sum, because essentially it's going to return a dictionary with all the values, and you're just after the sum, so you're getting that key out at the end.
Or you specifying what we're summing there.
Yeah, you're specifying what's being summed. So these two here have to be, they could be anything. It could be x, so x equals that, but I'm using sum because it's the sum, right? Makes sense. I could call it total, but there we go. The other question, which is the question I thought you asked, which was how would you count something rather than sum something? Which should say I was to go like liked by is models dot many to many field. I'm going to go user, go away, Jesus. I'm going to go, does it need an on delete? Models dot cascade, and then I'm going to have a related name. I hate this thing. Related name is going to be liked projects. Maybe projects liked. Owner projects, liked projects. All right, that makes sense to me. All right, I'm going to save that. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go manage.py. I'm going to go make migrations and migrate. Oh, God, that didn't work. Make migrations, undelete. Oh, so you don't need an onDelete for this. Didn't think you would. Liked by. Make migrations. Cool. Manage. py migrate. Cool. Done. All right. I'm going to run that. Manage shell again. Cool. I'm going to import, well, from project models import star. I'm going to go p equals, I'm going to call this proj now. Proj equals project.objects.first. I'm going to go user equals get, let me just do the from django.contrib.auth get user model. User equals, well, actually, user equals get user model. And then user is user.objects.first. So now I've got a user, which is username admin. I have project, which is our donated dog. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go, I've got project dot, what did I call it? Liked by? So liked by, if I do that, it's going to say this is a related descriptor. This is a many-to-many manager. I'm going to go liked by dot add because I know this. I've done this for the last project. And I'm going to say it's liked by a user. So if I go project.liked by .count, it's going to give me 1 because we have 1. If I go project liked by all, it's going to give me a list of all of them. It's going to tell me my custom user is admin because it's liked by admin, right? If I go to my user, which is admin user, if I go user.liked projects, it's going to tell me that's a related manager. If I count, it's going to tell me there's 1. If I go all, it's going to tell me that I have project object 1, which is our get a dog. Is that kind of making sense? So we're looking at it from both sides. Like from user, I'm looking at the projects that are liked by that user. From project, I'm looking at the users who have liked that project. So it's a many-to-many relationship. What Django does in the background here is it creates a new table that has a reference to both. So you have the user on one side, and it's got 2 fields. It essentially has a user ID and a project ID. And if someone likes it, it creates one that references the user and the project to link them together. It's like a cross-reference table. Is that kind of making sense? So this is something that I had a couple people ask about. How would you go about doing this? This is how you go about doing this. The way you would reference that in your serializer. So in, say, my serializer here, I've got my project serializer. I'd have it probably in project details. I would say, what was it, liked by is equal to my user serializer. What do we call our user serializer? Serializers, custom user serializer. Right, I'd import that. I'd go from users.model serializers, import custom user serializer. I'd take that, I'd come down here, and I go liked by is this, many equals true, and read only equals true. Cool. I'm going to save that. I'm going to find here. I'm going to go to projects. I haven't got one of these yet. Let me duplicate this. Projects 1. You can also create that as a prompt if you wanted to. So like ID. And then in here I could go control space prompt Title, project ID, default one, default to last value. No, let's just do that, default one. Cool. So this thing is going to, whenever I hit send, it's going to ask me which project I want to do. I could go project 2. Project 2 is going to say it can't connect to the server. That's interesting. Why is that not running? Unexpected keyword on delete. No. Oh, it's because it didn't restart. Cool. All right, send this again. Project, I'm going to go project 2. All right, cool. Liked by pledges, none. I'm going to run this again. Project 1, boom. So I've got pledges, and down the bottom I've got liked by. So I've got my, it's going to work in the same way because it's a many-to-many field. It's, it behaves in the same way as a reverse relationship. So we've looked up our pledges, we've looked up our liked bys. From the user perspective, see if I can do this before my thing runs out of battery. So users, serializer, in here you could have a, liked projects equals project serializer. Many equals true, and what was the other one? Read only equals true. Problem here might get a bit tricky because we're doing a reverse. Like custom user serializer is used by that serializer, and now like they're wanting to load each other at the same time. I'm just going to do it and see how much it breaks because it's probably going to break a lot. From projects.serializers import project serializer. Circular import, it's not going to work. So you can't do that one. You'd have to have it. This is just being a list of like a read serializers dot read only field. It's probably a way around this, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be able to tell you what the way around this is in the minutes I have before my battery runs out. Yeah. Let's have a quick duplicate of this. Actually, no, I'm going to create a new one, new HTTP request. I'm going to go base URL users, send. Object many-to-many is not JSON. All right, cool. It doesn't work that way. I'll get rid of that. Cool. All right, there we go. That's basically done. How much battery have I got? 9. All right. No. I'm going to stop recording. Any questions? So many questions? No questions. That was really good. Everyone wants to go. All right, cool. Thanks.